What is up, you guys? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hassan and welcome back to another video. The origin theories are coming out about coronavirus left, right and center, and it's only fair that I explore what exactly we are working with. I mean, is it all bullshit? There's some real science or evidence behind any of these explanations? Let's see what kind of information the internet has for us today. These are the top 10 scary COVID-19 origin theories. Starting us off with number 10 are bats. I mean, this is the most widespread origin theory out there and the one that's believed the most. Now, people believe the pandemic originated in a person in Wuhan consuming some sort of bat soup, since Chinese horseshoe bats have been identified as having COVID-19. But what if it wasn't the soup? Bats are the only mammal that can fly, meaning they can spread in huge numbers over big areas. When they fly, their peak body temperature is similar to having a fever, whereas in humans we get fevers as a defense mechanism to kill a virus. So a virus that developed inside of a bat would not be affected by anything like a fever. Honestly, maybe they were just out leaving their shit and urine droplets everywhere and that's how it transmitted to a human. I don't know. Could be. Coming in at number 9 is 5G. A popular origin story circulating the web right now is that the virus was caused by 5G waves. WUHAN has the new 5G, and websites like Connective Events claim that the 5G caused cells to break down and mimic the effects of the virus. The website goes on to say exposure to 5G waves can cause flu-like symptoms. That was thoroughly disputed though by the World Health Organization, who said despite many studies done on 5G wave exposure, none of the results have shown any conclusive evidence of adverse health effects. So I mean, I feel like this one is pretty debunked. It's not happening. At number 8, we have Bill Gates. This theory is wild and it claims that this whole pandemic was engineered by none other than Bill Gates. Pro-Trump YouTuber Jordan Sather tweeted a link to a coronavirus patent by Purbright Institute taken out in 2015, 5 years ago. The patent was regarding the development of a vaccine for a type of airborne coronavirus found in chickens. He then went on to target Gates, saying it was the Gates Foundation who funded the patent and engineered this pandemic for their own personal profit and gain. To add more fuel to the fire, in 2018, Bill gave a presentation at Massachusetts Medical Society where he spoke about how the global community is completely just unprepared to face a global outbreak. The timeline is just very fishy. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying it's sus. Filling on the 7th slot is biological warfare part 1. Now, I've mentioned this quite a few times now, and I'm not going to stop because I feel like it's the most viable theory after obviously the bats. Biological or germ warfare is the use of infectious agents like viruses or toxins with the sole intent to kill or harm other humans in an act of war. There have been so many cases of armies using these means to deter the opposing side, and which two opposing sides are in this one? We're talking about China and the US. The United States has been the number 1 power in the world for a while economically, and for more reasons. It's a monopoly and they want to keep it that way. I mean, which country wouldn't? The only country that caught up and if anything surpassed them is China, and I only know this because I did my 40-page thesis on this topic, so I'm pretty well versed on it. To weaken them in the global sphere, they could have very well developed COVID-19 in a lab in the US, transported it to somewhere unlikely like Wuhan, and watched the show come alive. But I guess it backfired since the most cases now are currently in the US, so eek. Now, number 6 is biological warfare part 2. Now we go on to China's side. Why would China create a biological virus and unleash it on its own people and then the rest of the world? For one, China has been known for its countless human rights violations. They have Uyghur people, which are the main Muslim group in China, in concentration camps, and the world is just letting it happen. They have killed their people before, and as a country with the largest population in the world, I'm sure I could think of a few reasons as to why they'd want to. Resources, pollution, space, their GDP, etc. Or maybe they just wanted to pioneer it so they could swoop in at the end and save the day. Who knows? Who knows? I'm merely just a host. Coming in at number 5 is the accident. Now, lab accidents happen all the time, more frequently than I'd like to admit, based off the research I've done, but let's just sweep that under the rug, shall we? A lot of labs keep all the viruses and diseases alive, like smallpox, for example, just to have a record of it or to study it and develop further vaccines from them. They can also create man-made diseases, which I discussed in the previous 2 points and other videos. So what if it was man-made, but for strictly educational, not evil reasons? And a dumbass lab worker lost 2,000 vials of it, just like they did with the SARS virus in Paris a few years back. Human error is so highly possible, and it could have taken one person to accidentally carry the vial out of the lab, drop it by accident, and some bat just lick it up. You don't know. At number 4 is the One World's government. Think Illuminati when you think of a One World's government. There's an old conspiracy theory that claims that Area 51 isn't hiding aliens, it's in fact the meeting place for a One World's government who then decide what exactly goes on in the world. Maybe they saw the direction humanity was headed and thought, you know what, it's time for a bit of a cleanse for the population. Let's just unleash a virus, kill a bunch of people around the world, let it get out of hand, and then watch how the little humans just run around in fear. They want to watch the world burn, but they think they're changing it for the better. I can assure you, evil sir, a global pandemic is just something none of us need. You want to cleanse us? Try taking half of us on a silent retreat to Bali or something. Just an idea. Filling on number 3 slot is karma. Karma is a you heard it here, not first. Now, humor me people, what if this COVID-19 pandemic is karma for all us humans for destroying and stripping the earth the way that we do? We've seen the evidence of how global emissions are going down because of we just being inside. The earth is getting stronger as we are hypothetically getting worse. And I mean, we are. The death toll is 1.3 million people, so I'd say the human population is not at its peak right now. Dolphins are coming back to the canals of Venice. It seems like the earth decided to finally strike back at us and hit us with karma that's been long overdue for a while. Now, I'm not supporting its actions, but I'm saying they are deserved. Now, at number 2 is Netflix. Now, before you call me out, think about which companies are benefiting the most from this pandemic. It's companies like Uber Eats and streaming services, since we're all stuck the hell at home with nothing to do except binge watch shows, which I am guilty of doing. Money Heist just came out, I need to see it. So this theory suggests that the returns Netflix reaped from social distancing and quarantine are unparalleled, so what if they planned the whole thing? At the end of February, the company's share prices rose by 0.8%, while the rest of the global stock markets dropped. Coincidence? I think not. And also, how very convenient that they had filmed and released their new docu-series, Pandemic: How to Prevent an Outbreak, as soon as all this happened. Docu-series take a while to make, longer than you'd think, so how did they finish production and filming in line with the pandemic? Just some food for thought. When did they film it? A year ago? Before they decided to unleash this? Perhaps. And finally, at number 1 is WUHAN 400. Now, apparently coronavirus was meant to happen all along. In the best-selling novel The Eyes of Darkness, Dean Koontz prophesied this 39 years ago. He said, in around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. And that's not even the creepiest part. Dean went on to say it would break out because of a Chinese scientist who would defect to the US with a biological weapon called WUHAN 400. It was apparently one of 400 viable strains of the man-made virus, and I know that doesn't sound very positive, but at least he also said it would vanish as quickly as it arrived. And I mean, it came pretty suddenly, yet it's been months and it's still here, so I mean, what's the hold up? And that is it for today's video, guys. I feel like there are quite some viable origin theories on this list. 5G, 100% not. I can't even speak. We're not even gonna acknowledge that one. I think WUHAN 400, that could be one. Biological warfare, though, is that's like my main conspiracy theory, honestly. But let me know which one you guys think it is in the comments below. As always, I'm your host, Ayman Hassan, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.